Hello, everybody. Welcome back once again. The Brawl for All Pro Wrestling Show, episode 20. We're going to be joined by Stephen Lane today. What's going on, Stephen?
Not a whole lot.
It's been a while since me and you done a show, just me and you together. But tonight we will, because Jeff, shout out to him, he has the flu, which I hope he gets feeling better soon. And Jason had to be out of town tonight and couldn't get on Skype. So therefore, it's just going to be me and you, Stephen. But we're going to go over Raw, we're going to go over Mania 31, and we're going to go over the Hall of Fame. So to start it off, we're going to start with the Hall of Fame here. So your overall thoughts on this year's Hall of Fame?
I did not like it.
I don't know many people who really did like it.
Yeah, who actually did like it? You know, and the speeches weren't really that great either.
They were mediocre at best.
Right, that's perfect. Yeah.
I was coming off some new. I actually read some news today that WWE is disappointed in the overall Mania because they said it lasted way too long, and they told at least 3 people to cut their interviews down to, or cut their speeches down to 12 minutes.
Huh.
They loved the Bushwhackers because they mixed up their wrestling persona and the history together. But they did not like Alundra Blaze talking about Eric Bischoff, and they did not like her language that she used in it.
Really? See, that I thought that was what was actually good, which I don't... Okay, she's kind of before my time, and it doesn't really matter anyway because I'm not really into female wrestlers to a certain degree. Besides some of the Attitude Era, girls, but
yeah, she actually came along in 2000 with Team Madness, though. I forgot she brought that up. She was on Macho Man's Team Madness there in 2000 in WCW. I remember that now.
Okay, and I know it probably for her era, she was probably one of the better female wrestlers.
She was, like me and Jeff said, she was a hell of an in-ring competitor.
Right, but I mean, what she was talking about actually kind of interested me.
I thought she did the best of all of them as far as speech went.
Yeah, she had the best speech out of all of them. And I did kind of agree that I think it went a little too long. I don't know how long she talked, but I think it was in the 25-minute range, I bet.
Yeah, and the thing I liked about it is that she did bring up all the controversy with Bischoff and stuff, and that's what the WWE did not like about it. They didn't like her talking about Eric Bischoff. I guess bringing up a lot of this stuff brought back a lot of bad memories to Vince on the night and got him in a pretty bad mood and got him thinking about older stuff, because even on the HBK induction and the Nash speech they were upset with too. They were upset with HBK even using the words wrestler and strap when he introduced Nash.
Wow.
Can't even use the word wrestler.
Yeah.
Anyway, when Nash's speech, he was really mad about him bringing up the whole deal about getting the guaranteed contracts because, as you know, WCW was out to try to sabotage, or so WWF thinks. They were out to sabotage him in the Monday Night War, and the guaranteed contract thing was a big deal. And I guess when he brought that up, it ruffled a lot of feathers with Vince and brought back bad memories. And he didn't like it at all. So
that is kind of interesting. I mean, that's like...
But then again, it's April Fool's Day today. Could it be a false report? I don't know.
If it Vince really has a lot of time to kill, so he could be doing that just for the hell of it.
Well, if it ends up being something fake, I'm just going to say that right now, because I did get the news on April Fool's Day. But still, it seems like a legit thing because everybody's reporting it, so...
Wow.
So Vince was unhappy. But they did love the Whackers. Now, here's my
thing.
Friggin'
Whackers.
Here's my thing. I thought Macho Man Lanny Poffo was kind of touching. And I did almost tear up during his little thing there at the end. I was like, I didn't actually tear up, but I got to the point where I was like, man, I'm getting sad about this. I don't know what you thought.
Listening to him talk, it's hard to get through it because, he's just got that way...
It was more the part when he brought up his wife and everything. I just kind of was like, this is rough. This is kind of tough. And as I said, I didn't even want to listen to Connor the Crusher to get into a depressing mood. So I kind of just flipped through him.
I kind of fast well, I fast forwarded through that one. I mean, all respect to any child. That,
right, me too, and that's why that's one of the reasons right there, because he was a child that it was hard for me to even watch.
Yeah, but in all respect, though, I did. The Hall of Fame's long enough, and that story doesn't interest me because I've already kind of heard everything there is to know. So I kind of didn't really pay attention to that one as much. But,
I have nerve problems anyway. I don't know if anybody listening to the show would like to know, but I'm not afraid to say it. But, I suffer from some anxiety and stuff like that. And, I mean, sometimes those kind of speeches can get me into the wrong zone, and I just don't want to go there. So
right.
That's why I just kind of skipped through them.
Yeah, and it really was kind of a third-party dealing anyway. It really wasn't like Macho Man.
What they have about 4 or 5 people up there, like Daniel Bryan I seen was up there, and then his dad was up there, and then the girls were up there. I mean, did they really need to bring Daniel Bryan up there to talk about him? I didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, he was, with him last year, and he had him sitting there ringside with him and everything, so I can see why they did it, but I didn't know they were going to do that.
Yeah, it was pretty long.
It lasted too long.
Yeah, on all respect to him, I guess they wanted to give a lot of time to him, but...
rest in peace to the kid, and he was 8 years old when he passed away, and that's just tragic. But, just coming from where I'm coming from with my nerves and stuff like that, I just couldn't do it. I just had to flip through it. I was like, this is going to put me in a bad place. But I wonder how many people felt the same, Well,
I kind of wondered how many other children in the whole Make-A-Wish thing have passed away, and why is Connor the most popular?
I don't know. They're putting him on a pedestal over all other kids. It's
what was up with him being so popular? I just don't. I don't know.
I'm guessing just because he died right after Mania 30 when they had him as a guest and everything.
Okay.
So I'm guessing that's why. I mean, they did do that documentary on him and everything last year at Mania, being a Make-A-Wish kid, and it was like Daniel Bryan had a day with him or whatever.
Right.
So, that was weird. But, yeah, Vince unhappy overall. I wonder if he was unhappy with how long that ran. I mean, because that was the overall main thing, was that it went too long. So
is that what the issues were?
Yeah, well, then the other issues I told you about, the remarks that were made, and he wasn't liking that. So... Then we had Rikishi, which so undeserving to be in there. They're not going to put Haku in there, but they're going to put Rikishi in there. Mang, I think he should go before Rikishi.
Yeah.
Haku. He did mention the Tonga Kid though, and I think that's who that is. Anyway, I may be wrong, so if anybody hears it, correct me. But anyway, Rikishi's was just that went too long.
Yes.
The Whackers, really, did they need to be in there? I don't know, but they did have an entertaining segment there on the Hall of Fame. I have to give it to them, and I can see why WWE liked it. And
Does Butch have one volume?
I don't think he breaks character. He wasn't a character.
No, he really is.
There were a lot of woes.
Yeah, he has one volume. That is.
I do like the part where he had Bret Hart and all them, and they whacked their way up there, shook their hands, and then they did the whack the way back. I thought that was funny.
Wow.
Did you see that part?
I remember watching that. I just don't remember.
They acknowledged Hacksaw, and Hacksaw did the hoe. And
oh, yeah, they had Roddy Piper.
Roddy whacked his way up there. $1 Million Man did it.
Bret Hart.
Yeah, Bret Hart. But they did the whack on the way up there. I thought that was funny. And then I didn't know Butch was in such bad shape where he had those walking with the crutches and everything.
Wow.
I was
like, they looked like twins 20 years ago. Now they look totally different.
Boy, did Luke look 100 times better than Butch, though.
Yeah.
Like Jeff, who's not joining us tonight, he said, it looked like Luke's been living in Hollywood and Butch has been back in the bush.
Right.
It's like, geez. I was like, no kidding, man. And it's got me thinking, is that the reason they put him in? Because Butch is doing so bad?
I doubt it.
You doubt it?
Hey, yeah, because I don't think that they would do that just because of that. Because they really aren't deserving anyway. So I can't say if there's any reason to, except for just their name was on a piece of paper and they were kind of going off people and they picked them.
Let's put the Bushwhackers out.
They might have put some tag teams in a like a ping pong raffle. Whoever they threw out, that's who they put in the Hall of Fame. Because I think this Hall of Fame was like a ping pong ball, like NBA lottery type style.
They played it like the lottery.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Too bad Demolition didn't pop out.
Oh man,
There's so
how
many
many
good
tag teams deserve to be in? And
so many.
The Bushwhackers got it.
It was funny. The Hart Foundation's sitting out in the crowd, and they should be in there as a tag team.
Yeah.
They had the Anvil in the crowd, and he should be in there as a tag team with them. Or the whole Hart Foundation as a faction should be in there, really.
And I liked how, like, when they were calling up, Piper and $1 Million Man, every single person in the crowd's like, please don't say my name. Please don't get me up there.
Yeah, because Bret Hart, when they said his name, we got to call you up here for your dad, Stu. We're going to call up Bret. And it looked like Bret was just like, oh, man.
Man, why the hell you say my name?
Why are you even thinking Stu? What did he do? I don't know. Bushwhackers, I do like John Laurinaitis brought up the sheep herders and how he was their flag bearer to start off his career. I thought that was funny.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Listening to him talk's rough, too, but I understand he got hit in the throat.
It's not about people power.
Man, I would never want that injury. That's got to be one of the worst, to get hit in the throat like that.
Did he? Is that why he talks like that?
Yeah, it was in Japan when he was working in Japan, and yeah, he got hit by somebody clotheslined right in the throat. I saw the video, and it looks pretty bad.
Crushed his larynx or something?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And
ooh, he's lucky he didn't freaking die.
That's what happened to Stevie Richards kind of too, but he got hit, I think, on the back of the neck or something.
Steiner had a similar injury. Apollo clotheslined him and broke his trachea in Mexico. I don't know if you remember that.
And that was Scott, right?
Yeah. They wouldn't let him even out of the country because he couldn't fly with that trachea crushed.
Oh gosh!
They fixed it, but he could not fly.
Yeah.
Or get out of Mexico anyway. He couldn't travel.
And I would imagine it was Mexico City, and to get to the border in car would take 10 hours.
Yeah, they said. I remember they said if he wouldn't have got to the hospital, he would have died because it was like in his sleep that night.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, and you remember Apollo in TNA? He was the one that did it to him.
No, I don't.
Yeah, he was kind of in the LAX for a little bit there at the beginning.
Wow.
Before they put in Hernandez.
Hernandez.
Yeah, if you go back, if he was original LAX Apollo, I can't believe I can remember that. But Hernandez, what happened to him? I don't know. I thought he could have had a shot in WWE.
Yeah, he just died, I guess. I don't know.
LAX was cool.
Dude, remember that was around the time TNA was good, like Homicide, Hernandez.
Yeah, when I went to the pay-per-view in 2007.
Yeah, that was good times,
That
man.
was a good pay-per-view, man. That was cool.
Both companies were going, strong.
People will diss TNA, but man, they did have some good moments.
They had some good moments. I'd say from the time they started, from 2002, I'd say about 2002 to about, oh god,
right before Hogan came in.
Yeah, I mean, right around probably 2011 was around the. I don't know. It's hard to say when the kind of the death of TNA was. I'd say whenever
Hogan and Bischoff.
Yeah, well, when Sting was doing his Joker gimmick, it was still watchable.
Yeah, I liked it then.
Hogan and Bischoff, it was still watchable, and at least they had some primetime talent. But
by the time they got out of there, it was dead.
It was dead. It was dead.
So that's what I'm saying. They kind of killed it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Brother.
Man, they really did try, and they got some good talent right around when Hogan came in, but it died off with it.
Oh, I will always remember when they tried to pull another Monday Night War, and it lasted a night.
They did too. They did do a Monday Night Raw, like a Monday night.
Yeah, they tried to move it to Mondays on like 2 weeks in a row, and they just bombed majorly.
It did not work.
No, it didn't work.
No, I kind of remember how they did a Monday night at least once or twice.
Remember they had Sean Morley acting like Val Venus. They had Rikishi on there. I mean, they were pulling out every WWE guy you can think of. Nasty Boys.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they had they had Scott Hall with X-Pac.
Just everybody
come back, and
every one of Hogan's friends was on there.
Wow.
Well, you know something, brother.
How did first of all, the Nasty Boys deserve it more than Bushwhackers.
Actually, they do. They actually held the belt.
And they still look the same today. How in the hell is that?
They never were in good shape, but yeah.
Right.
Okay, so back to the Hall of Fame, off subject. Anyway, Larry Zbyszko, I didn't care for the speech.
Neither did I.
He's too articulate and just weird.
Well, I felt like that with Lanny Poffo.
Poffo does he say a poem every time he talks, or?
I think so, but his voice and the way he talks, it's very hard to get through.
It did get touching to me though, so I got to give props to him at the end there on Macho. I mean, when they put the picture up of him and stuff, I was like, man, I was kind of like feeling bad that he wasn't there.
Yeah.
More than anything.
Well, in casual, people that don't even watch wrestling know who the Macho Man is and know the voice.
Household name, yes.
The voice, people even hear the voice, and they don't even watch wrestling.
I'm going to accept this award.
In the Slim Jim commercials.
Snap into a Slim Jim.
Yeah, and they were like...
those were iconic, man.
They were iconic. That's the word I was looking for.
I remember they tried to use Warrior for... If you go on YouTube, Warrior did a Slim Jim commercial. It just did not work.
Really?
No, it didn't work. And
remember,
they were right back to he did a Chef Boyardee commercial.
Chef Boyardee, that was classic.
That was like when Mankind, he had no momentum going at that time either. Like, I think that might have been right after the fall off the cage and stuff, where he started getting popular. They threw him on a commercial. You know what I mean?
Yeah, get in some Chef Boyardee commercial.
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't know. He might have been wearing the sweatpants by then. I can't remember. I just remember it being a bad commercial.
That was when WWE still tried to do commercials.
Yeah, because they weren't publicly traded, so they were looking for other outlets. And
yeah,
I know you hate that term, and I hate it too. Publicly traded.
Yeah, and that makes me seem like it's very limited. That means we can't do this.
We can't do that. We can't do this. We can't.
Blood. UFC is a private company. I don't think it's publicly traded, is it?
I don't think so. But I could see him going that way, but I don't think anybody would want to.
Yeah. Well, UFC's kind of stuck on idle anyway.
There's too much violence to be a mainstream sport, in my opinion, coming from people who are just casually watching it. They see all that blood and stuff, and they're like, they're just turned off by it.
Well, it's too violent, and it's never full steam ahead because they get I hate to go off subject, but they get a lineup, and then one of the fighters gets hurt, and they delay the fight 6 months.
And don't forget that they're falling into the same trap as WWE. Too much.
Too much.
They when they used to have a pay-per-view every 3 months, it was great. Now that they have one every 2 weeks, it's like,
it's bad.
Oh man, they can't pull together a good card because all their stars have to be spaced out on all these shows.
I mean, Ronda Rousey's literally like the Fedor Emelianenko. It's like there's no competition.
She is the top draw in a man's sport.
Right, and that's not good for her. In a way, it's good and bad because she's already venturing into movies. She's in the new Fast and Furious?
Yeah, she's in WWE.
Okay, she's I think going to be in the new James Bond movie, but I could be wrong. I know, but
she's going to be done with MMA soon, but her career's far from over. She's going to be used for years, and as long as she can retire that without losing, her name's going to be box office all the way.
I mean, you can only have so much cauliflower ear, and it's like, okay, I'm done, make money, and I can continue. She can continue to make money elsewhere.
Well, she's going to want to probably have a family and stuff. I mean,
yeah,
sooner or later.
And I'm 25, and she's older.
How old is she?
She's at least, she's more over 25, but maybe below 30.
She's not my age, is she?
No, she's probably about 28, 29, I bet.
Okay. I was wondering that myself. But yeah, she's getting around that time where it's about time to settle down and maybe start a family if she's ever going to.
Yeah, get out of fighting because at this point she doesn't have to fight.
I don't know. Who knows if is she into guys? I would say so.
I mean, wow.
I've never heard anybody dating her or anything, so...
Neither have I.
So it's got you wondering.
I'm sure she's probably not as violent as it seems,
Oh yeah, she's a good-looking girl. She's, athletic, talented. I mean, even WWE's looking for women that have her look and her athleticism.
Yeah,
that ought to tell you something. They're getting away from the models and going back to girls that can wrestle, kind of like a Medusa would have been.
Yeah, Medusa, she's kind of
she would have fit perfect in today's day.
In today's day. Yeah.
Okay, so
WWE needs to get rid of the whole model chicks because they can't really wrestle.
Right.
And they actually need to get wrestlers.
Nikki and Brie ought to prove that.
Yeah.
On a nightly basis. They don't get any better.
They don't get any better.
They're not physical enough to be wrestlers.
Nope, they're not.
And does Nikki still have the belt?
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Really? You know?
Yeah. I mean, at least, what is her name? Paige. She grew up in a wrestling.
Yeah, she can wrestle.
She can wrestle.
At least AJ can wrestle. At least, I mean, put the belt on a girl that can wrestle, not one that looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, they look just as good. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so back to the Hall of Fame. We're getting off subject. We're probably going to do that a lot tonight, but this one might run long because we got a lot to do. So, anyway, we apologize beforehand, but getting back onto the Hall of Fame, there ain't really much else to talk about. Schwarzenegger's was kind of funny to me because, I mean, at the end he was thanking America instead of WWE, and I mean, like, what? He didn't even thank the WWE, he thanked it. Thank you, America. Get to the chopper.
It is funny to hear. I think
Turbo Man.
I took away one thing, though, from his speech, that when he's in a movie, he's more understandable than he is in real life. I think he focuses more on being, like, understood in a movie. He focuses more on his language.
I understand exactly what you're talking about, Steven.
But when he's, making that speech, you can tell, like, with each word he says, he's like, oh, he's got a heavy accent.
You might have thought that Reg Park was my idol, but Otto Vons was my real idol. I liked wrestling.
He wanted to be a wrestler.
Big and strong and have good physique. It was a funny speech, really. Like, why are they putting him in there? I mean, I've had several people ask me on the street, just like, what do you think about Schwarzenegger? And I'm like, well, I don't really care if he's in the celebrity wing. He's better than some of the celebrities they put in there.
Yeah, but what did he do? He came out and said one thing one time. And
he did that thing on SmackDown. Like Jason said, he did bring a lot to wrestling as far as physiques go. I don't know if we see Conan, or not Conan. I called him Conan. I don't know.
Conan.
He did play him. I don't know if Arnold would have never came along, would the physiques have blown up at the way they did in wrestling? Just an opinion. And Jason did bring that up with he was one of the first guys with that physique where you were like, wow. This guy's intimidating. And like Triple H said, if his idol would have been Bruno Sammartino, he may have been a really good wrestler.
Yeah.
He'd had the look, he had the presence, he even has the charisma, everything. I mean, his talking would have been suspect, for sure. But
you never know, man. Schwarzenegger could have been a really good wrestler.
That's what he even brought up. So, I think Schwarzenegger deserves it because he has influenced a lot of wrestlers in the physique department.
Yeah.
And for me, to this day, I love his movies.
Yeah.
So if you're going to put any celebrity in there, just to put a celebrity in there, I think Arnold was perfect. And he was the governor of the state of California. They were in California. Makes sense.
Yeah. I don't think Jericho probably shook his hand, but I don't know.
He got booed so bad when they said governor of California. It was funny.
Well, like Jericho said, that whole stint, Schwarzenegger had, Jericho tried to say hi to him, and Schwarzenegger wasn't very nice.
Who are you? Are you with Y2J?
But the one thing I love, anybody who knows me, Y2J is probably my second favorite wrestler ever. Okay, so love the guy.
You know me too, man. I've always said I love Jericho.
Love him, but especially from his podcast, any enemy he had in the past, he's best friends with him now.
I'm listening, not to cut you off, but listening to his podcast, I think sometimes that he was a real jackass back then.
Well,
a real cocky son of a bitch, in my opinion.
I just think he's kind of a homer. He's kind of like anything WWE does, I'm behind. Like he said, all you fans booing Reigns. I think he's the next champion. He backs anybody and everybody, and he just kind of covers the bases.
I think he's under a contract with WWE though to talk good because
he doesn't do nothing but talk good, and he doesn't have to talk good about stuff that's okay. It's not worth talking good about.
Okay, Reigns is bad, but if you look at it this way, he's always like that.
Yeah, I just think Jericho's definitely playing it safe on that podcast. While JR and Stone Cold, they're more they give you more attitude.
Hey, while we're on the podcast kick, I had a couple notes. Jericho to interview Cena next week after Raw, so you know he's got to keep it 100 with WWE.
Oh man, he's not going to ask him anything you would or I would ask.
Well,
him.
I'm just saying that's probably the reason why you don't hear him talk negatively about the WWE. Does he really want to lose that connection?
Yeah. Well, that's one reason he can't, but it kind of sucks though that.
And it's kind of odd that there's reported issues between Austin and McMahon over the use of his podcast on the network, and that Jericho is going to be hosting this with Cena. Could it be that Austin wanted to host with Cena, and now he's mad that they're using Jericho instead, or did Austin back out and they're using Jericho because of Austin not being there? I don't know. It's just interesting that it came out that he's doing that podcast and that there's reported issues between him and Vince.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I would have rather seen Austin do the interview.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for the network. And it's going to draw a lot more attention. You watch this Jericho podcast won't be as watched as the Austin ones.
That's true. Yep.
I don't know, though. It's Cena, so I could be wrong. Because I'm telling you right now, people don't want to admit it, but there's a lot of freaking closet Cena fans out there.
Oh, yeah.
And they need to come out of the woodwork. You guys all like to boo him and give him shit, but I mean, I'm going to tell you what, try to get his schedule, and I mean, I'm not a closet Cena fan or anything, but I'm not going to diss the guy every turn. I even gave him props on this match at Mania. I give him props on his match on Raw. I think he's had some of the most entertaining matches lately.
Yeah, he has.
They need to get off his ass, because he's not as bad as Reigns or some guys that we could have.
I just think maybe they need to change it up.
He was shoved down our throats so bad. And
he talks too much.
And I don't know about you, but in the beginning, I was a Cena fan.
Yeah.
After about 3-4 years, and then he got into being like, the champ is here and all that, I was like, I'm done.
Done.
I'm done with him. And I've never been a fan since, but I'm not going to knock the guy. He's been there for, 12 years now? On top.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to see anybody try to pull that. 12 years on top. Not even Hogan was on top that many years, I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, needless to say, not a lot of guys stepped up and tried to take it from him, but...
Well, I think Cena came in probably, I don't know, at a good time, of course, but it would have been better if he would have been in the prime around the Attitude Era, because we could have seen, heel Cena and change up gimmick.
I still think a heel turn would be great before he goes out.
Yep.
It's about time. It's about time, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, hell, HBK was a heel, and Undertaker has been a heel. All the greats have been a heel.
Right, but now it's like I said, the publicly traded company. They don't want Cena to look bad and lose all the merchandise sales and all the stock that they're getting because he's such a high-selling guy. I mean, that's just the bottom line with why they aren't turning him heel.
Yeah, it sucks.
And probably why we will never see him be a heel.
Yeah.
Which sucks because, man, it could be great TV.
Mm-hmm.
Great storylines. You could almost bring back an NWO with him. Not necessarily called not necessarily called the NWO, but they could pull exactly what they did with Hogan with Cena.
They could do a lot more than what they do. I don't know, man. WWE just plays it safe. I feel like they go to work and they just do the same crap. And remember when Bischoff ran WCW? At least they tried new stuff.
Do you remember, or do you think, though, that if Cena was turned heel, that he would blow it up like Hogan did?
He could, only if there were more stars in today's time, and there's not.
I see. I don't think it's even worth trying.
Not in this era. It's not worth trying because if they was going to do something like that, they should have done it probably around 2006, 7, or 8
when they had Edge, Jericho, and everybody still around.
Right. You could worry about Edge being a champion, and Cena could go off and do his own thing for 6 months, and we could forget about it.
Right.
Right after that, and Edge and Undertaker were still full time. They could carry WWE while they were doing something experimental with Cena, but it's too late now. It's just
Batista.
Yeah, Batista. I mean, God, he was big time around that time.
I know. I don't know why the fans shit on him so bad when he came back because, man, that guy gave a lot to the business, to tell you the truth.
Well, WWE messed it up, and he should have been a heel. He's a really good heel.
They shouldn't have had him win the Rumble right off, but that's a lot of stuff. Let's go back to the Hall of Fame and finish this off first. And I'm sure we'll come back up to Cena. In fact, I know we're going to come back to Cena. So anyway,
we will always get to
Cena.
We
We talked about Alundra. We talked about the Whackers, Rikishi, Zbyszko. We talked about Schwarzenegger and Connor. We talked Macho Man. And what about Fujinami? You couldn't understand. I mean, this guy could have benefited from some kind of translator. He struggled up there. I kind of felt sorry for him up there. I mean, you couldn't understand what he was saying. He was trying so hard, man.
Yeah.
They really should have put a translator with him.
That's a channel flipper.
I mean, he could have talked and then had somebody translate it anyway. I mean, and why didn't they have anybody translating this to Japanese?
Yeah.
Don't the WWE know that there's people from Japan probably going to watch one of their idols get put in the Hall of Fame? Nobody's ever brought that up, but I think they should have done it.
That was something they had to have talked about.
I mean, I would have definitely. And did you hear they put Itami over in that Battle Royal to put him in the Andre Battle Royal because of the Fujinami coverage of the weekend? It was like a last-second call. They were going to do Neville or Balor, but they decided to throw Itami in there because of all the Japanese media.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all, man.
No. So, overall, that was pretty much the last... Oh, Kevin Nash. We talked about how he brought up... and we cannot even forget to mention that he brought up Oz the Dusty. You're going to be Oz, baby. You're going to be from the Emerald City. He actually called Dusty. If anybody doesn't believe me, go back and watch the Hall of Fame because he called Dusty out on it there.
See, I watched the Nash one, but I fast-forwarded a little bit of it.
Oh, dude, you missed Oz. Oh, they put him up on the big screen. He goes, don't they got a shot with me with the old dunce cap on and the mask? And he's like, I'm not the greatest looking guy in the world, but do you really want to put a rubber mask on my face? It was funny. And he's like, where's Dusty at? Where's Dusty? And Dusty's out there laughing. He's like, yeah, Dusty had this great idea. I was gonna be Oz. Oh, he went through his whole career. He talked about the Master Blasters, everything. Talked about Vinny Vegas.
Dude, he had some shit gimmicks.
But then when he brought up the guaranteed contracts, he ruffled some feathers with Vince. So,
oh my God.
Vince is reportedly unhappy with the overall Hall of Fame.
Dude, he's too safe anymore, man.
Yeah. Using too much language. Well, other people were upset with the Bischoff deal. Not just him, and there were people upset with the language that Blaze used too, so not just him. Which I don't see it as no big deal, but I did find it too long. When I got on there and seen it was like 2 hours and 40-some minutes, I was like, what?
Oh, no, dude, it's longer than that.
Was it?
Yeah, it was 3 hours, I believe.
Okay, well, at least 3 hours almost. It was like, yeah, it was 2:58, wasn't it?
Dude, that's a long... Now, if you're actually there in person, it's not long, but, you know, as a fan watching it on TV, it's like, oh my God.
Okay, so comparing... It was too long. Comparing this to Hall of Fames of the past, I think we're going to both agree that it was probably one of the worst ones they ever had.
It's one of the worst ones, and also it was kind of confusing that I thought Macho Man was the headliner.
Oh, yeah, we never brought that up. Why did they have Nash go on last?
Yeah, maybe they wanted Nash actually speaking for himself. You know,
yeah,
I don't know.
They didn't want to do a posthumous inductee as the last guy. That's all I can think of. They didn't want to send it out on a depressing note.
I think that's had to have been the reason, because Macho Man was the headliner and was the biggest name.
Yeah, because I was under the impression the whole time Macho Man's last.
Yeah, so it to me, I don't really think it's a big deal, because there had to have been a reason.
Man, if they would have went off the air with his song playing, it would have been so much better.
Yeah.
I mean, they really missed the boat there. I think that was one of the problems, having Nash go last.
Right.
And then they dragged it out forever. It just seemed to me this whole weekend was like, let's get Triple H's boys over.
Yep.
Like, and then the whole Clique comes out. For how many years in a row has the Clique came out?
Well, they came out the next night.
But, I mean, the Hall of Fames, I think the last two Hall of Fames they've came out. The one where HBK was in there, the one where Scott Hall was in there. Now they come out at Nash's.
Oh, dude, they're coming out when Triple H goes in.
I mean, the Clique just can't stay away from the Hall of Fame. So,
oh, man.
Let's get all your boys out there.
when is Triple H going to get in the Hall of Fame? Because when he goes into the Hall of Fame, they're going to be like, oh, he's only in the Hall of Fame because he's married. No, he's not.
I think when Triple H goes in, they'll either raise him from the floor or lower him from the ceiling. Because he's always got to have an elaborate entrance.
Yeah, well, when's a good time for him to go in? Maybe Triple H doesn't want to go in for a long time.
He shouldn't go in for a few years, especially not he shouldn't take it away from Sting or Taker. So yeah. I'm claiming 3-4 years.
Now, next year is supposed to be a big event because it's in Texas, Dallas Stadium. It's going to be huge. Now, I wonder, is Undertaker probably going to be going in? I would imagine.
Is he going to go in, though, when he has a match?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, though, because is Sting going to go in next year?
They did that with Flair, but we were under the impression if Flair lost, that was the end of his career, so... If they did that with Taker, and I'm not going to say that he should lose or win, but I'm saying the best thing to do would be to put somebody over in his last one.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to say, but Taker's going to have to go out with 2 losses.
Huh.
I mean, do you really think he shouldn't put somebody over?
No, because it really doesn't. I can't say as if wrestling Undertaker for one night is going to put you over.
Well,
I mean, you got to have a program.
Even if he takes on Sting next year, which is the rumor, is he going to beat Sting for 2 years in a row?
Huh. See, and that's always where it comes to okay, well, who goes over? And I think that's really the only hindrance of them not fighting yet.
I just don't see that match happening. I got more to say, but let's go on to Mania because I think we're done with the Hall of Fame. So.
Yeah, we talked about the Hall of Fame's too long.
We talked about it too long. I mean, it's almost 40 minutes in. That's
rough.
It shouldn't take long to talk about the Mania and Raw, though. I mean, it will. So I don't care if it goes long. Whatever. People are interested. They're interested. So, but we do apologize for the long running time. So,
sorry for the whole time.
Yeah, I do try to get it into an hour, but.
We're almost running as long as the Hall of Fame did.
Yeah, we brought it good on. We brought some good points on the Hall of Fame though, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Mania results. Kid and Cesaro retain. We all called that. Cesaro threw off. Oh yeah, he tagged Jay on the rope, and then he stole the pin. After they hit that Tower of the Doom, and then Jay hit the splash, and then he ran in there and got the pin. I thought that was a good finish and a good match.
Yeah, that was a good tag match.
It really was. That was a great kickoff match.
And I loved some people didn't like it, like Stone Cold. I think that he didn't like it. Yeah, he didn't like the fact that it was sunny out, and I loved that. I freaking loved that.
I did to a certain extent, and I'll get to the point later, but I did like it at first. I even opened my doors up and stuff and let the sun in, and I was like, I feel like I'm in that environment right now,
Right, you feel like it's kind of like a different event,
Yeah, it felt special, but this year the crowd paled in comparison to the New Orleans crowd.
Yeah,
and I have to say that I think WrestleMania last year overall was probably better than this year.
I don't know.
Not as far as the results, but as far as the overall feel and the crowd and everything, it was better last year.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seemed a lot darker in New Orleans too.
Yeah, it's up there together. It's hard to say which one would be better.
They really both weren't the best efforts they ever did.
Yeah.
I think the last 4 or 5 Manias have been lackluster, really, in the overall spectrum.
Oh, dude, for sure.
But I do think it did surprise me though, this Mania. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be as good as it actually turned it out being, so.
Yeah, I remember saying probably about a month or so ago, though, I'm like, this is going to be a terrible Mania. There was nothing going on.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, it surprised me. It was a lot better than I thought.
So the next one was Big Show winning the Battle Royal. I actually called this last year for him to win, and I just didn't think they were going to have him do it now. Or I probably would have called the guy. But the way they are booking him, I'm like, he actually won.
He won a Battle Royal for the first time ever.
Yeah, and he eliminated Mizdow at the end, which I could not believe they had him go down to the last 2 with Mizdow. They must be really on to this guy.
Yeah.
And he did eliminate Miz, and that started a little feud, but I got something to say about that the next night. But
that's a blow off.
If anybody probably deserves to win the Andre Battle Royal, it's probably Big Show right now because he's at the end of his career, and he is like the new age Andre.
Yeah.
So it's a fitting thing, and I thought he should have won the first one.
Yep, he should have.
Yeah, where did that get Cesaro?
What? Nowhere.
It got him with Tyson Kidd and the tag belts next year. I mean, I thought that was his launching pad to being a solo star, but
yeah,
never happened. Then going on from that, I would say that was just mediocre. Going on from that, Bryan wins the IC title ladder match to kick it off, the main show, because those first two were on the pre-show. But he knocked off Ziggler on the ladder at the end there to win. This match let me down. I've been saying for weeks I thought this was going to be a hell of a match, but it seems like they were like, let's keep this one PG, guys, and don't outshine anybody, please. We're going to put you on first. Just go out and have a basic ladder match, nothing too crazy.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and it just came off so dull and such a disappointment.
Yep.
I can't believe they would tell him to hold back at Mania, but
I mean, it's really hard to do anything new anymore, but they did hold back. They did.
Yeah, and Daniel Bryan came out of it after hardly doing anything.
Dude, I feel like nobody did anything. I even felt like, did R-Truth get much offense in?
I forgot Bryan was in the match till he jumped in at the end.
Yeah, and R-Truth, he wasn't anywhere to be found.
Ambrose took a rough spot though.
Yeah.
He landed bad on that. I mean, I don't think he meant to land right on his neck like that.
I'm sure he didn't, but wearing jeans kind of hinders your athleticism.
Yeah, Barrett kind of dropped him too short. He was trying to hit him his back right in the middle, but I think he hit head in the middle. So, because everybody should know by now that ladder was rigged to break in half. I mean,
wow,
you know that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think if anybody doesn't know that ladder was rigged, there's no way you could do a ladder like that and not kill yourself.
I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, but they've been rigging those ladders to break. They did that thing with Sin Cara. I mean...
Oh, dude, they need to quit doing that crap.
Yeah, because it looks so fake, because a ladder's not going to snap right in half like that.
No, it's not going to snap, and if it does, it might, one side of it would snap, and you know what I'm saying? That snapped really easy.
One thing about the match, though, is I did like the duel on the ladder with him and Ziggler at the end. I was like, who's going to pull this down?
Yeah.
And when Bryan got it down, I was like, I knew it.
But I'm sitting there yelling, like, Daniel Bryan's up there or whatever, and it's like, come on, get up. You guys are laying in the ring. Get up.
I love how they act like they just can't climb that last rung to get up there. I mean, it's such a bad sell job when they do that slow climb up there.
Well, especially after no offense has been made in that match. So It's like, really?
So that was real letdown.
No one got a steel chair and hit anybody in the back? Nothing?
There was no brutality in that match, really.
No one got hit with a ladder? I mean,
they just need to quit having ladder matches at Mania if that's going to happen.
If that's the case, then just
I would have rather seen like a scramble or something other than that, in my opinion. Right? Like a championship scramble would have worked.
I think a championship scramble would have worked too. I mean,
better
the ladder
than
match,
that.
I get it. The ladder match is fine. It's just
if they would have a ladder match. I mean,
is it any good? Like, no.
That was like a John Cena at Orton ladder match.
No.
That was like having a ladder match between Hogan and Nash.
Yep.
Or Triple H and Nash. Let's get that right.
Kevin Nash in a ladder match, that needs to never happen again.
I can't believe they would even do that.
Why would they?
Anyway, his name.
I might watch that now.
I gotta watch it just to laugh at it. Anyway,
I'm watching Fatal. As we speak, I need something to watch in the background. I'm watching Fatal 4-Way, the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Oh, it's from back in the day.
Yeah, I ordered it on pay-per-view when it was new in 2009, like springtime. About this time.
I didn't know they had another Fatal 4-Way. I didn't know they had a pay-per-view called Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah, they only did it once, and I liked it. They had, I want to say 2 Fatal 4-Way matches, kind of like the Elimination Chamber. But...
Well, do you remember the first one they had was In Your House Fatal 4-Way with Vader, Austin, Undertaker, and I I can't remember the last competitor. It might have been Bret Hart.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
Yeah, that was a little bit before your time, so you'll have to go back and watch that In Your House Fatal 4-Way. It was right when Austin was breaking out.
Wow.
And Vader was still on top back then as a top guy. They did use him as a top guy for a while.
Wow.
Never did get the belt though. Like he owned it in WCW, and they never even let him get real close to it in WWE. That was a letdown. I think they should have used Vader better. But anyway, on from that, here's one of the best matches of the night. Orton defeated Rollins. He popped up that curb stomp from Rollins and hit that RKO, which was so cool.
Oh yeah, that was good.
These guys' timing and moves were impeccable.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see them wrestle a little bit more now.
I think they're going to have a feud because Orton's wanting that rematch because on Raw he even said it. So these guys are going to come back at it again. Orton's going to want another match with him.
Oh, yeah.
And it showed you Rollins can just put on great matches with about anybody. I mean, this guy looked so Shawn Michaels-like out there. It was not even funny. And I even heard today DDP said this guy's just like Shawn Michaels, and I was like, that's exactly what I've been saying.
Yep, you can't get any better in the ring than Seth Rollins.
He needs work on the mic, and he needs work with his character, but this guy is money.
He's there for the long haul, I can tell you that.
Tyler Black wasn't over on the indie scene for nothing. They need to recognize that. This guy doesn't need to be baby, like a cowardly heel. I just don't like the way they're using him booking-wise.
Yeah. I like to look at Seth Rollins as kind of like the last of the I'm not really considering it territory, but anymore, a lot of these guys are just coming through the WWE system itself, and I'm not a huge fan of those kind of guys.
Rollins, Ambrose, Kevin Owens, Zayn, they're all been on the indie scene for a long time.
I kind of look at it like, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins were the Ring of Honor champions. And
Ambrose,
guys,
You must not known about Johnny Moxley.
Well, Ambrose was more of like a hardcore Mick Foley, Necro Butcher type.
He did a lot of CZW shit.
That's what I'm saying. He's actually turned into a lot better of a wrestler than he really was actually probably supposed to.
Yeah, actually, like a technical wrestler. Yeah, you're right. But that has a lot to do with William Regal and stuff. So,
I mean, if you can compare, in my opinion, Seth Rollins is 10 times the wrestler that Dean Ambrose is.
Right,
I mean,
but
he is.
If he had Ambrose's mic skills, though, it'd be incredible.
Yeah, but Ambrose, he's got good mic skills for being Ambrose, but Ambrose, he's just such a strange character.
Well, he can't be scripted.
Yeah.
If they'd let him talk without being scripted, it'd be better.
Yep, that is true.
So Orton defeating Rollins, which made you think Rollins had no chance to do anything in the night.
Yeah.
But were we wrong? Anyway, going on from that, Triple H defeated Sting, and that was 2 back-to-back matches that I loved. And I almost called it last episode that I could feel a defeat coming on for Sting. But I did go with Triple H, but I said that I just felt something weird because he never got a beatdown on Sting.
Yeah, there wasn't much.
And now I can see why they never did. Because they had the whole time they were planning on Triple H going over, which I find ridiculous if it's going to be his only Mania. But if it's not, and they do have a rematch at like SummerSlam or something, I can see why they did it. But if they just end the program with him and Triple H, it just feels to me like Triple H wanted to get that win over Sting, and it was another political move by the Clique.
Hell yeah, WWE defeats WCW.
Yeah, and that too. And I thought that part was funny where the bat broke the sledgehammer in half. I mean, that's impossible.
It was rigged.
Yeah, but he hit him with a sledgehammer blow to win the match. But we've got to mention NWO and DX both involved. DX, which was New Age Outlaws and X-Pac, and then the NWO comes out with Hall, Nash, and Hogan. Did Nash blow a quad?
I don't think so.
Well, there's been talk about he did get injured at that. I don't know. I never really did look at or not, but he did go down pretty hard.
Wow.
Did you watch the match back? You'll see Nash go down like he tore a quad, but I don't know if he tore a quad just running out there. That's funny.
Man, he just got bad legs.
Yeah. He did end up getting back up and hanging by the ring though, so I don't know if he's hurt or not. I never did check into it, but they said he was reportedly joking about a WrestleMania injury. So, and then I seen a meme I actually shared on Facebook today that said, "Get inducted to the Hall of Fame one night, tear a quad the next."
That's Kevin Nash.
So he might have really tore a quad. I don't know. He's notorious for it. So, but boy, did they look old coming out there. Hogan made Nash and Hall look old.
Yeah.
Hogan looked better than both of them.
How in the hell does Hogan in better shape than those guys?
I don't know, but it's funny out there. It's like Hogan can't stay out of the spotlight, can he? What do you make his
2 nights in a row?
What do you make his 56th appearance on Mania or in 32?
Dude, he was there last year. He was there this year.
Out of 31, he's made 56 appearances.
I mean, God.
Several times throughout the night, too. It's not usually just like one appearance for Mania. It's like he's got several.
Dude, he's got... oh, yeah, man.
I just find it all kind of funny.
Like, Hogan won't... He literally won't die. Hulkamania will not die, like everybody says. He just won't die.
No.
Oh, man. That was funny, because when I heard the NWO coming out, the first person I saw was Hogan. I'm like, of course.
Yeah.
Here's Hogan at Mania. Oh, man. That's nuts to look at him now compared to when he was in TNA. It's like, wow.
Right.
Because he really was trying to build that company. That did not work.
Right. I just can't believe that he's 60 years old. He's still making run-ins. It's just...
He's walking in.
I mean, like I said to you, what's it say for the young guys when they got like 60-year-old guys coming out there instead of them? I could see the nostalgia factor, but it gets a little bit ridiculous after a while, in my opinion. I mean, like I said, it's so odd to me because Sting feuded with the NWO, and now they're going to come out and save him?
Yeah, the guy that hosts, Taz's podcast, he's kind of got like a sidekick. There was the one guy that said the same exact thing you just said. He's like, man, the NWO never got along with Sting, but here they are helping Sting.
And I just want to quote that I have never said that, or what I never did listen to that before this show. So
yeah, but I think a lot of people probably thought it too. Even I kind of thought like, oh, NWO's kind of backing Sting, even though they didn't really get along. But it's kind of like NWO, or I mean, it's like WCW versus WWE.
I kind of thought that they were going to end up screwing Sting, but it didn't happen. They actually helped him out. Like I was like, wow, really? Where's Scott Steiner and where's Goldberg? Where's some of these guys at that actually helped Sting when he was in WCW?
Yeah, I just think it's funny how like it seems like the last two appearances that Shawn Michaels have made was been like heel appearances, but somehow he still gets cheered like the greatest ever. Yeah,
and guess what? Another victory for the Clique.
Right.
Everybody was out there that time.
Even
Michaels got involved.
Like, Shawn Michaels is literally a heel in retirement right now, and somehow he still gets cheered, and it's like, oh, it's Shawn Michaels.
Exactly. It's just...
Dude, he's a heel, because remember, he pulled a stunt like that a while back.
On Daniel Bryan.
Okay, yeah, he kicked him and it's like, dude, he's a heel, man.
Well, Michaels even said himself when he came back and did the Slammies, he's like, so am I supposed to heel out or what? He didn't know, he's like, am I supposed to go out there and be baby? I just kicked Bryan's head off. I mean, last time everybody saw me, so he's like, I didn't know whether to be a face or a heel or what.
Yeah.
And they didn't tell him, so it's just like, it's things like that Michael says he doesn't like coming back for. And he's probably like, now I'm a heel again. It's like, why'd they have me kick Sting? It's just, I would love to see Icon versus Icon, and that's what I thought when he kicked Sting. I'm like, oh, maybe they're setting it up. Because it's Texas next year.
That's true.
If Michaels is going to do one more, it's going to be in Texas.
He still has the hair and everything, so...
He can actually do the kick still, so I'm sure he could probably put on one more match, even though he looks like he rode a horse in and can't get his legs back straight, but, they can get past that because, they did it with Taker, so...
Yeah, his back is literally like the St. Louis Arch. You know what I mean?
Oh, God. His ass sticks out and his legs bend. Anyway, after that, so I think that's enough on the Sting Triple H deal. How about the Triple H entrance?
That was my favorite.
Did you like the Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Terminator?
Dude, I loved it.
Did you? The only thing I didn't think was cool and I think they could have switched, is when he came up and he had those little arms on that were kind of funny looking.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just have him come up holding the skulls?
Yeah, the headpiece was cool too.
Yeah, well, when he held those skulls up, the Terminator skulls,
yeah,
they should have had him come rising up like that, in my opinion, instead of putting that back gear on him and having him look like he had those arms. Because me and my girlfriend kind of laughed at that. We were like, look at those little arms.
I didn't like how they handed him the skulls. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they did. On like two people handed him the skulls. I think he should have just came right with. If he would have came rising up with them skulls like he was a conqueror or something, a little different. That would have been cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like they handed him the skulls. He puts his arms up and he just throws them. It's like,
he rose up and walks, and then he gets handed this. It just didn't make no sense.
Yeah, that was still one of my favorites. I know a lot of people knock the Sting entrance, which I thought it was kind of cool.
Sting's entrance made no sense because it was a bunch of Japanese guys playing drums, and Sting has nothing to do with Japan.
That is very true.
I was like...
I still liked it because I thought, Sting, his music's always been kind of like opera or kind of like mysterious, and that's kind of what it was in a way. But
well, me and Jeff both said the same thing, like it just didn't make any sense.
Out of the dramatic entrances, the Wyatt had the worst one in my opinion. But I know we're not there yet. But Sting's wasn't bad. Triple H's was my favorite, along with Rusev. Rusev had probably actually the best one.
Yeah, it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the worst matches.
I thought it was a good match. I thought it was okay.
Okay, we'll be there in a second. Backstage, Bryan interview to try to hype up the prestige to the IC title. They had like Piper and Hart and Patterson and Steamboat, and then Ron Simmons did the damn.
Oh man!
Damn!
How many times are they going to do that at Mania?
I don't know. It's getting old. But that backstage,
it's getting old.
That backstage segment was unnecessary.
He did that shit in 2007. He literally did. He did it to like 30 people in a room.
Right. Damn. So moving on, we can move on from that. Paige and AJ defeated the Bellas. I saw it coming. AJ tapped out Nikki with the Black Widow. You guys called the Bellas, but I called Paige and AJ. So I'm glad I got that one. That was a piss break.
Yep.
And then they had Cena win the U.S. title from Rusev, as we talked about. He knocked Lana off the apron. They actually flew Lana in for it. And then we were wondering. And then they hit Rusev with the AA to be the first man to pin Rusev and wins the U.S. title. Do you call that a good thing or a bad thing that he pinned Rusev?
A bad thing, especially coming from that move.
Yeah, now Rusev's just another guy.
Yep.
He's just another guy now, and it's just like, why would they do that? I see that they're trying to make prestige out of the title by putting it on Cena, which I think is a good thing that they're trying to boost the titles up, but Cena was the wrong guy.
I don't think Cena was the wrong guy to do it, but I think under the circumstances that happened, he just gave him the AA, and that's
he needed to go over with some kind of screw over or something.
Well, Cena, which of course he couldn't have done it, but taking a steel chair and hit him in the back.
Well, somebody else could have came out and attacked Rusev or something, and he could have capitalized, and that would have made more sense. And
10 chair shots to the back would do it.
Would have made Rusev. Yeah, the ref gets knocked out. Rusev, Cena gets knocked out with the ref, and somebody comes down and puts a beating on Rusev to start another feud, maybe, or something like that, and then have Cena go over him like that, because it just makes Rusev look like he's still strong, where this just made him look weak.
Yeah.
So I didn't agree with it. But like you said, he had one of the coolest entrances of the night.
Yeah, and I hope Rusev is on the up and coming top, because he kind of proved that the fans are behind it.
Even without Lana, is it Lana or Lana? I always get it wrong.
It's Lana.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, even without Lana, he still gets a good reaction. So.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, could he do a face? I'm wondering if they did a.
Man, his look is so bad for a face.
Well, and how do you bring the Russian gimmick?
Yeah, it's just.
How do you do it?
It's impossible. They want to keep him atop hill.
Yeah, it's kind of like certain fans, man. There's about 30% of the fans in the crowd cheering for him.
Hey, but they did turn Vladimir Kozlov and Nikolai Volkov face, so it can always be done later.
Well, Kozlov was more of a god.
Dude, Rusev.
He was like a New Day member at that point.
Rusev's like Kozlov 2.0.
Yeah, I mean, if you put Kozlov like in the New Day category, you could almost do anything. But Rusev, he's a top 5 guy right now. So
he seems like their second attempt at a Kozlov type gimmick, though. It was funny.
Yeah,
Kozlov could have benefited a lot off of having like a Lana.
He really could have. Something was playing, man. Remember when he just had no music at all?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, white trunks.
Well, he was
no
a beast.
Music.
He was a beast, though, and I was believing in him for a while. So I don't know.
Yeah, the Elimination Chamber. He kicked ass, man.
He fought Taker too, didn't he?
He beat Undertaker clean in the ring on a SmackDown one time.
Exactly. And they had him going undefeated and everything too. Remember?
Yeah, he was believable.
Right.
Yeah.
So going on from there, it was the Triple H and Stephanie and the Rock Ronda Rousey segment, which Dana White did know about. Rousey hip tossed Triple H and toyed with Stephanie for a little bit. That's pretty much all that happened after some words were traded. He even said he was gonna take her that Rousey was gonna rip out her ovaries and jump rope with him or something like that, or fallopian tubes. Sorry.
Yeah.
What'd you think? I was a way big time killer trying to kill Daylight, in my opinion. It was like, let's put that on right before Taker and Wyatt match so we can kill a lot of time to see if the sun goes down, which it didn't work.
I don't know, man. I grew up, man, loving The Rock, but dude, I just can't stand it anymore.
Well,
I can't. All he does is just go out there, he insults you, and it's just like,
He's the only guy who can come and go as he pleases.
Well, he comes and goes as he pleases. You know what he's gonna say on the mic. I mean, okay.
That was funny though. He rip her fallopian tubes and jump rope with him. I mean,
well, he's just kind of like it's the same thing.
He's always a comedic guy, never serious.
Just comedic, and he's just gonna insult you to hell. He's just gonna come and go. Is he setting up for next year? It's like, okay, so you're gonna be ready next year, okay?
And you know that they just threw him and Rousey out there for star power.
That's all, man. That's all.
I didn't care for the segment too much. I thought it went on way, way too long.
I mean, he comes out in a freaking Under Armour shirt, the same one he wears.
He didn't look as big as he looked like he's dropped some muscle.
I think he bulked up for the Hercules movie and then kind of lowered.
Well, you remember, didn't he tear his quad out or something that match against Cena that he wrestled?
I believe he did, but he bulked up.
Yeah, but that's probably the reason why he's dropping weight, because he's going to wrestle next year at Mania 32, and he probably doesn't want all that bulk, because that's probably why he tore his quad.
Yeah, but he bulked up a lot.
Yeah, he was too stiff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was huge for the Hercules, but too bad the movie sucked.
I didn't watch it. I haven't watched a lot of the Rock movies.
I've heard it was horrible, and I'm not a Rock movie fan myself.
Yeah, I know. I like Rock. I like a lot of the movies he's in. I mean, there's some movies I haven't seen, but I'm not an obsessive fan over him. He was never my favorite.
No, he's no Arnold.
I liked heel Rock. I loved The Rock, being the bad guy, but then when he turned good, that's kind of
the best run he had was Hollywood Hill. Or Hollywood Rock when he was...
And that was good, too.
The Hill
that was good.
Against Stone Cold that last time when he had the leather pants on.
Yeah, basically, I like heel Rock.
He was playing guitar and everything.
Yeah, he was just kind of like an ass.
Yeah. So...
Yeah, now he's just... I don't know.
Well, that's... So, anyway, back to Mania, though. That segment, just to kill time so they could try to kill Daylight. So, when it came down to the next match, which was Taker and Wyatt... Taker moves to 22-1. Wyatt actually wrestled with an injured ankle that he injured earlier in the night working out in the ring. So, what'd you think of that?
Why is he out and working? Does everybody do that? I don't know.
Yeah, they usually go out and try to do a little run through and stuff. And I guess that's whenever he just hurt his ankle so bad. I guess he didn't put pressure on it or couldn't walk on it the entire time up until he wrestled. They threw a cast on there and he went out and fought Taker.
So that's basically probably why the match was so limited.
Well, here is... I don't want you to say anything yet, but I'm just going to give my opinion. And then you can give your opinion. To me, it seems like the age has caught up with Taker, and he was just 2 or 3 steps slower than he ever has been, and it seemed like he was so winded that he took so many breaks laying on the ground, hanging on the ropes, or just would do a move, walk around a little bit, do a move, walk around. Or at the end there, he was just laying and leaning, and just like he had no legs under him, like he could just fall over at any second.
Yeah.
Was he the greatest seller of all time, or was he trying to make up for the fact that Bray Wyatt's ankle was injured and he had to slow down? But even in that match, Wyatt moved around quick.
Yeah.
And
I don't think he was laying there because he was tired, because he didn't do enough to get tired, and there's no way anybody could get tired, especially someone like him who does have cardio, I would imagine.
Well, here's the thing, though. He packed on probably 50 pounds of muscle from last time, which I got to say, he looked great. The entrance was great. He looked great. He looked so much better than he has for probably the past 3-4 years. He had hair,
Yeah.
He had hair, which made him look so much younger. He had a good tan going. His shoulders and his arms were built up a lot more this time. But could that have hindered his stamina? I'm wondering. Did he put on too much muscle?
I don't think so. I mean, I think I think he's probably a step slower than he probably ever has been, just because of age. He did look a lot better.
So you
but
don't
I
agree with you don't agree that he looked like he was stumbling around out there?
Well, he was, but I'm under the assumption that I think he was, because Wyatt was so limited. So I think it's like he can't just stand up and just kind of walk around. So you just have to lay there a little bit longer than normal so he can get up. And you can't have a fast match if his ankle was that bad. You can't have a fast match.
No,
and you can't be on your feet that much either.
Well, what was your opinion on, like, he said he was fine though after the match and that he felt great.
But see, I don't know how bad his ankle was. I mean,
No, I'm talking about Taker.
Yeah, and I think Taker did look good. He really did. I think Wyatt, if his leg or his ankle was as bad as it was, and I've had a sprained ankle in my life, and I'm just imagining a couple hours later, that's when the pain, I mean, you can barely walk. If it's that bad of a sprained ankle, but
I'm sure as the match went on, it got worse.
Yeah, I mean, the more you wait and rest on it, actually the worse it gets.
Blood starts flowing in there, and it just starts hurting. Anyway, though, the worst Sister Abigail Taker took in history so far.
Yeah.
What do you got to say for that? Like, he cradled him like he was an old man. Like, protected him, it looked like.
See, we just, I guess we'll never really know which one does it really fall on. I mean, maybe Wyatt will end up talking in an interview or something at some point and say, the match, we couldn't do what we wanted to do because I was limited, and I don't know. I mean,
I just think he was hurt, and then Taker was slow on top of it, and it was just so hard. Neither of them could get anything going. It was just like a bad matchup.
I just think it definitely was a bad matchup. 2 years in a row for Taker. I mean, Brock, can you get a worse opponent for him?
No, that
Even
was
I thought it was a bad opponent.
Match, because all he could do is throw you around with suplexes and beat on you. I mean,
well, and hurt you, and literally physically hurt you. Right. So,
but even on the tombstone, it looked like Taker was really struggling to keep him up. I
don't know. I've watched it one time, and I watched it thoroughly.
Well, look at Wyatt holding on for dear life, man.
Yeah, but Wyatt is kind of a big boy,
but he's hoisted bigger guys than that.
I enjoyed Undertaker, and I
did enjoy it, but I'm not going to sit here and say that he looked absolutely unbelievable as far as wrestling wise. Now, he looked great as far as look and everything, but
yeah,
the performance overall, I'd have to give it mediocre, man. And it's got you wondering that Sting looks so good for 55 years old. It's got you wondering what kind of match that would be.
Yeah. I would just like to find out who. Okay, it was kind of an average match, and it was, but who does it more fall on? Because at this point, it's kind of like, okay, Wyatt was hurt, and Undertaker's getting older, so who really is the problem here? Because Wyatt was just as slow.
Right.
And he's not normally that slow. I mean, I don't know.
Right.
It's interesting.
So, overall, what do you think about the match overall? Like I said, I just don't think it was that great, so.
It was an average match with a spectacle of watching Undertaker, which makes it a little bit better, in my opinion.
Right. Well, here's the thing, though, that I was going to say, too, which I've talked to you about too is that from now on they just need to. I mean, he's almost like an Andre now. He's just like a spectacle.
But what I would say is, if you go back and look at some of the Undertaker matches, like, okay, he had one against Mark Henry. That wasn't a very good match at all.
Right. He's had a lot of bad ones in the streak.
He's had bad ones, and he's had like the one with Mark Henry. He was slow in that match.
I'll have to go.
That was 8-9 years ago.
Okay.
So I mean,
well, this just he is 50 years old. He had that shitty performance last year, and then he comes back and doesn't look much better. It just makes you think, like, does he need to hang it up or what?
I mean, it could be really bad coincidence. You know, like last year he got the concussion, and he was just not even there. And then this year, Wyatt has a rolled ankle,
which probably took him out of his game. So, I mean, yeah, I'm going either way until I hear exactly what. I mean, a lot of people have been saying this and that, but I heard that Taker said he felt great during the match, and him and Sting were hanging out the next day and stuff. So,
yeah,
he must not be too displeased in his work. I mean, I just know a lot of people thought the same thing I did, but maybe we're just being too critical. Who knows?
I think if he was losing a step, like, noticeably, I think he'd be the first one to say, hey, I'm done, guys. I'm done.
Maybe he does notice, but he is being used as like a spectacle, and they don't really expect him to go out there and put on a 5-star match.
Now, if he was facing HBK right now,
it's bad.
I'm just trying to think of, he would probably look 10 times better.
You think?
I think so, yeah.
I have to go back and watch those matches again. Taker was so much more. Taker didn't do his spot over the top rope. He didn't do his flying clothesline in the ring where he does the flip.
He didn't.
No, he didn't do many moves, man, if you go back and look.
I just feel like maybe they just rushed the damn match, too.
Yeah, maybe
it wasn't a long match.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was almost like that Taker when he returned against Kane and just destroyed him.
Yeah. I mean, heck, he had bad matches even when he was younger, so...
All right, well, going on from that, Rollins cashes in the Money in the Bank and makes it a triple threat. He actually pulled it off the Reigns spear onto Lesnar. He had a curb stomp on Reigns and actually got the pin over Reigns, so that way Lesnar doesn't look bad now, dropping the strap, and they can still use him as a top guy and not make him look bad. And he gets the win over Reigns, which hasn't even had the belt yet. So in my opinion, they wanted to do that rather than have like Brock lose and him cash in on Brock.
Yeah.
But, I mean, overall, do you think it was a good move for him to cash in the Money in Bank and take the belt? You think he's ready for the belt now? I mean, I really do look at him as like a transitional champion, like they're going to go straight to Reigns or back to Lesnar or something here in a few months.
I think it was perfect. I mean, when else is he going to cash it in?
I mean, it was perfect, and you got to cash it in sometime, so you might as well make it exciting. And you and Jason, I want to say that you and Jason both said that he'd cash that in.
Yeah,
but
I mean, why wouldn't he?
You said he'd cash in on Lesnar, though, not a triple threat. And could it
I
be?
thought that was really cool.
Well, could it be that Brock's whole thing was he didn't want to take the fall to Reigns to lose the belt, so that way they changed it up to make him not actually take the fall to Reigns?
Well, I think it's all about protecting Lesnar and don't pin him. I mean, even though didn't he lose like every match for about 2 years? Does anybody forget that?
But now that they put him over Taker, they got to make him look unstoppable, or it looks
he's unstoppable. All of a sudden,
but
it'd
make him look dumb though that they made that choice to have him beat Taker and not look unstoppable.
Right, in 2012 and 13, he literally lost every match for 2 years.
Right,
and he really did. So I don't know. I mean, it's never been cashed in at Mania. It's about due. They did it, and I think it kind of made Rollins a little credible. He cashed it in as the match was going on and made it a triple threat. He didn't wait till one guy was pinned or whatever. So
right. So overall, Mania, I think it's been about as good as it has been the past 5 years or so.
Yeah.
I don't think you could say it's any better or any worse.
It wasn't WrestleMania 17, and it really wasn't the worst, so...
No, but you did get to see something special with Rollins getting his first belt and stuff. And afterwards, I was like, well, it was a pretty decent Mania for what I thought it was going to be.
The stage and all that was really cool. You got to see Sting, you got to see Undertaker, and Lesnar, and a cash-in. So, I mean, you got to see... They give you your money's worth.
It was a weak crowd, though.
Yeah, the crowd was kind of weak. I don't know if the outside really affects the noise. Depends on how the stadium's built, but yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so do you want to go ahead and just go through Raw? I know it's going to be a long-ass episode, and I apologize to anybody who has to freaking sit here and listen to the whole thing, but hopefully you do. But I don't know, maybe I can split this into 2 parts or something, who knows. But going on to Raw, I'll probably keep it in one big long episode, but
yeah.
That'd probably be the best thing. But anyway, going on to Raw, you had Brock and Heyman come out starting it off, which was the blow-off the fallout from Mania. You had him coming out claiming his client destroyed Reigns, and his client's words, he took him to Suplex City, bitch, which I thought was funny. He said that all was well until Rollins weaseled his way in and stole the title. Heyman said he could take legal action, but Brock doesn't want that. He wants the rematch. Stephanie came in and cut him off and talked how great that the night was before, and she said Rollins is on his way from the Today Show and he'll be up to the challenge when he lands. Heyman said this isn't a prediction but a promise that his client will wrestle on Raw and deliver a beating that allows him to call Brock champion again. So that's how it started off. I love how they plugged into the Today Show. I mean, let's mention he's on his way back from the Today Show.
Yeah, they had to do that.
I do love when he did scream that at Reigns, though. That's Suplex City, bitch.
Suplex City, bitch.
Yeah, and they brought that back up, which was a good idea, because that could be that's a great T-shirt logo right there. But it's PG. Come on, guys.
Yeah, they kind of went away with that with Stephanie, talking the way she was talking.
The most PG ass kicker in the PG era, right?
Yeah.
He's probably right.
That is true.
Okay, going on to the next segment, because we don't have time to waste here. We're going to move right along. Bryan retains IC from Dolph via the Knee Plus is what they're calling it now. Did you get that?
What is this?
The Knee Plus is the name for the running knee.
Huh.
Yeah, Knee Plus. Okay, that's awesome, guys.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, Bad News Barrett ran in from commentary and hit Bryan from behind and set up a bull hammer when all of a sudden, here he comes, Sheamus hitting the ring. Wade retreated and Sheamus turned and hit a brogue kick on Bryan. He heeled out. And then he hit Dolph with white noise and a brogue kick and grabbed the mic and said, "I'm back." And he had the worst look. This mohawk in the beard, if you haven't seen it, go online and check out Raw or check out pictures, but this looked like you said, Darren Drozdov.
It looked like Darren Drozdov.
So we thought Darren Drozdov came back from paralysis there for a second. I mean, that's a bad joke. But anyway, he looked like Droz.
Well, the fans did cheer him and then booed him immediately after he did it. And I was like, oh my God.
He did get the "You look stupid" chant. But I think they initially thought he was coming in there to save Bryan and them, so they were all like, oh, he's helping. But then after he healed out and then they got a good look at his new look, they were like, "You look stupid," and just booed him.
Yeah, but it was kind of like a psych. I mean,
I don't care whatever happened, he got a hell of a reaction.
I wonder how long he'll keep this look, because it's not a good look. It's really not.
No, it's a bad look. We even both did say that it did kind of look ridiculous.
I mean, if a look, that's about as ridiculous as a look. I mean, he's getting... That look attracts way too much attention.
Right.
It's way too much, man. It's not a good look.
No, not at all. Okay, so I'm anxious to see what they're going to do with Sheamus. So, moving on from that, though, we had the debut of the Lucha Dragons teaming up with the New Day, and they took on Cesaro, Kid, and the Ascension, and he hit Salida del Sol for the win. That's what he calls that move. And then I have noted here that the Dragons looked really good, and Kalisto's almost like a new Mysterio.
Yeah, he's got to fill the role. I mean,
it looks like that's what he's going to do.
Yeah, at least Sin Cara knows what he's doing.
How about the re-debut of Sin Cara? Like he's never been on TV before. Like, oh, here come the Lucha Dragons.
Sin Cara, and it's like, whoa.
Wait a minute. Wasn't he just jobbing like a week ago? Or I don't know.
Dude, he was in a Money in the Bank ladder match and then somehow went to NXT for development. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but
dude, you took a crap.
When he was in the Money in the Bank, that was the real Sin Cara, though. That wasn't Hunico.
Oh, that was the real one, yeah. But now it's still, I'm looking at it as Sin Cara, though, because that's the way they look at it.
Right, but still, this Sin Cara is so less into the gimmick than you can just. He's not into that gimmick.
He's not into this.
He's not into that gimmick.
No, he's not.
It looks like he's almost embarrassed to be out there in it.
Thank God he's got the mask on.
Right. We've talked about that before, I think. So you even said, what do you see coming? You think the Lucha Dragons could get the belts or anytime?
You know what, the reaction that they got, yeah.
That show that Kalisto put on was amazing.
Yeah, I think you're looking at a good tag team, though.
And hey, we did say they need to bring some of these NXT guys up, and at least they did a few.
They did 3 guys all in one Raw. I couldn't believe it.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you call Sin Cara an NXT talent, though? I mean, I don't know.
Oh, man, not really, though.
Yeah. Going on from that, though, we had Heyman come out, and he got the word that Rollins arrived, so they both went to the ring, and then Rollins and J&J headed to the ring as well. Got up and held the title in Brock's face, and Lillian did the introductions and the bell rings. Well, Rollins jumped out of the ring and said he spoke with Steph and he was feeling a bit jet lagged. He said his foot hurt from curb stomping Brock and Roman the night before. He said
that was a good one.
Right. He said he is the champ. He is a fighting champ, but not tonight. And Brock ended up chasing Rollins down, and he hit him with a few punches, and then Rollins ran back into the ring, and he got caught with a suplex, but then Rollins floated over and kicked him, and then he took off through the crowd. So what did Brock do but tear apart the announce table? He knocked the commentary table over, hurting Booker T and JBL. And then he whipped Michael Cole in the ring, gave him an F5. Then he got that cameraman and tried to F5 him when Steph ran out and begged him to stop. But Brock, stone cold like in my opinion, F5'd him anyway. And then Steph said she was suspending Brock indefinitely. Brock then F5'd the cameraman again, pissed off. They brought the stretcher to the ring and stuff, and it ended in no contest. So what'd you think of this? They had to get Brock out of there some way because he's not full time.
Man, they put on a show. I mean, anytime anybody destroys things like that, it's just entertaining.
It was one of the best reactions they've had on Raw in years. Did you agree with me? That crowd was in a frenzy.
Yeah, why can't the crowd be that good every single time?
I don't know. The crowd was better this night than they were at Mania.
It's like, what, the New Jersey crowd's good. That crowd was, what, San Jose? That was a good crowd.
Right.
Chicago's always a good crowd, but there are cities that have bad crowds. I mean, St. Louis, that's a bad crowd.
You don't like St. Louis?
Oh, dude, St. Louis is one of the worst crowds. Any show I've ever been to, they're quiet, man.
Man, I think St. Louis can get into it sometimes, but that's just me. St. Louis is a hell of a wrestling. We respect wrestling, though, in St. Louis, and they're not just going to sit there. I don't know. We're more like a Japanese crowd, in my opinion.
Yeah,
they pop at the high spots in St. Louis. It seems like.
I mean, St. Louis. I've been to multiple pay-per-views, and I've been to multiple Chicago pay-per-views. So, and it's like Chicago's twice as loud.
Well, I think St. Louis is more respectful and less to hijack a show.
Yeah.
You know.
Chicago. I mean, Chicago. They're a more violent crowd, but they don't care.
They don't care. They're like a New York crowd. They're going to tell you what's up.
Yeah, and that's good for wrestling. I mean, wrestling needs violent crowds.
Okay, well, rolling right along in Raw. That was a hell of a segment and one of the best in years. And they got Brock out of there in a cool way. And you know he's going to be back because he has to have his rematch.
Yeah, he's going to get it at some point.
Okay, so then they had Mizdow defeat Stardust after he had a skull-crushing finale. Why is Mizdow still playing the Miz role? I have no idea.
Why is he still wearing his tights?
I don't know. But then afterwards, didn't Miz come down and put a beating on him and hit a skull-crushing finale on him and stuff?
Yeah, but I could care less at this point because he's still wearing his tights.
Right, he's still being Mizdow. He did the skull-crushing finale.
I'm just gonna keep saying that anytime he brings up. It's like he's wearing his tights. What?
Yeah, they're still.
I hate your guts.
Are they going to break? Are they broke up or not? You know, it's like start calling the guy Damian Sandow again.
I mean, Jeez.
Put a real feud going. Why is he even trying to act like Miz still? It's stupid.
Why aren't they? Yeah, why is Mizdow fighting, and why isn't he fighting Miz?
Yeah, I mean, come on. It's so stupid.
Shouldn't Miz have been like, I demand a match with him right now?
Right, that's the way it should have been. That's what it should have been like tonight. Miz should have came out pissed off and demanded a match with Mizdow. So
yeah,
they
didn't even do a promo for Miz or anything.
This storyline's been confusing with them too.
It makes as much sense as Goldust and Stardust.
Right, so it was fitting he fought Stardust then.
Well, at this point, the way they've handled the Miz and Mizdow, I don't care. I really don't. I
really don't either. That they've really dropped the ball on that feud. That could have been better. They could have got Sandow over big time by now.
In a matter of about 2 days, they've screwed it up. But they've also screwed it up the past few months because I think, I don't know, before Royal Rumble, they should have done something with the feud and just ended it. It went on too long.
It seems to me they just don't want to pull the trigger on putting Sandow over.
I don't think they really like him that much.
Get him down to the last two participants in the Battle Royal, though, was good for him.
Yeah.
Make sure they are kind of taking a little interest in the reaction he's getting. So.
Yeah, I just don't think they like Damien Sandow.
And I'm going to tell you right now, one of my favorite spots of the night was next when Neville debuted against Axelmania. And I mean, the only problem I have is dropping Adrian from Neville. I mean, what is Neville?
That's a last name, so it's like, well, he has a first name, right?
And hey, they had him come out with the Hobbit hood on and cape.
Yeah.
And I always say he looked like a Hobbit, and they had him come out with the hood and cape on like he was the Hobbit, in my opinion.
Well, it'd be like Seth Rollins just being Rollins and then Ambrose just being Ambrose. It doesn't make sense.
Well, what'd you think about the cape?
I think it looks cool.
Is it Hobbit-like?
I think it's more Oz-like.
It's Hobbit-like.
Yeah, he's got to cover himself up, I guess. I don't know.
That was funny. He did do the move with that on, though, and it looked kind of cool, like a superhero. Yeah. They kind of did go to the Mighty Mouse route with giving him the cape.
He got a cape. I don't know what they're trying to do with the cape, but he got a cape.
Like he's the man gravity forgot. Neville. He did have a hell of a match, though, man. They showed some skill.
Just Neville, it sounds too like, okay, you have a first name, so what's your first name?
Right. Regardless of the name, though, he's got to be on the card after that performance.
But why do they always got to screw with things?
I don't
know.
Why did they just leave Adrian Neville? Everybody already knows him anyway.
Yeah, and Adrian Neville makes sense.
And now he's purple, too, so.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll change his colors.
Axel got a good line in there. He said it was time for Extreme Rules. And it took 29 people to throw him out of the Battle Royal, by the way, and I picked him last week.
Well, Snoop Dogg barely threw him out.
At 150 pounds, soaking wet.
Yep, and it was mostly Axel throwing himself out, so to me that kind of he lost credibility with me.
Yeah, he is getting over with the writing team, though, I think, for some reason. Next, they had John Cena defeat Ambrose for the U.S. title. To retain it. He hit the Attitude Adjustment. I thought that was a hell of a match.
That was a good match.
They did a good match. And John Cena, he's been doing good in matches. Like I said, like they give him shit, but man.
Yeah, he's been doing good.
The guy can work when he's given a good opponent. I mean.
Yeah, John Cena, he can wrestle. Just the only knock about him is just there's no character change up and it will never happen. So
yeah.
What you see is literally what you're going to get for the next 10 years.
We've talked so much about Cena, though. I'm just going to move on. If you've listened to this show, we've heard about it.
Let's just drop John.
Yeah, John's done for the end of the night. Anyway, Renee Young welcomed Seth Rollins backstage and asked him what she thought of Brock's suspension, or asked him what he thought of Brock's suspension. Rollins said it was good because Brock is a bad representative of the company, and he put his hands on the wrong people. He hopes Brock gets fined. He outsmarted the champ at Reigns, and he doesn't want to hear about him again. And he said the important thing is that he earned the title, and he's keeping it for a long, long time. Playing that annoying heel roll to the max, I think it's funny. It's almost like he's the new Edge. Anyway, yeah. Orton walks in and says Rollins has to deal with him, too, so... He also said he nearly took Rollins' head off right before he won the title, so he needed to think about that. And he said he still owed a title shot from last year, which is true. He didn't get his rematch, and he wants what he has earned and deserves too. So he pretty much put it bluntly out there that he's after Rollins as well. So Rollins has pretty much 3 guys now after him. Doesn't look good. Anyway, Kane and Show, our 2 favorite guys, came walking in behind Rollins. And they said that he has, and Rollins says that Orton has 3 problems to deal with. Orton said that Rollins said that Orton had till the end of the night to find 2 partners, if he could. So that was just to set up the main event there, but what'd you think of that? Big Show and Kane coming in? Like, that's going to threaten you?
It would threaten me.
God, can we make this a retirement match real quick? Or
you know what? I hope they end up getting the tag belts just to shut people up.
Oh my!
Because people are so sick of Big Show and Kane. I enjoy it because it pisses everybody else off. I'm
sick of them, Steven, so...
Oh, I know you are, and in a way, I am actually kind of too. But that's why I enjoy it. It's like I want Big Show and Kane. That's all I really want at this point.
Put the titles on them.
Please do me a favor and give them the titles, please.
You're terrible.
Kane, go back to being Kane.
Right.
That would help. That would help a lot.
Hey, Big Show needs to go back to being Big Show.
Big Show needs to quit. He's going to turn our face here soon. I can feel it. 6 months is up.
They got him kissing ass and stuff. It's funny.
Yeah.
He's
coffee. On an ironclad contract.
Getting coffee and all that shit. Oh, God. Ironclad.
Dude, he's on an ironclad contract.
He signed that with John Laurinaitis.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, so on from that. Paige, AJ, and Naomi defeated Natalya and the Bella Twins in one of the best women's matches that I've seen them have for a while. I mean, they were actually getting around pulling off some good moves in this match. I'm not joking. And I mean, if you didn't watch it, you need to check it out. Naomi rear-viewed Nikki for the win. But they did get a lot more action in this match than I've ever seen. Maybe they are going to give the Divas a little bit more time and a better chance and let them work a little bit better.
I think it's pretty noticeable because they're on there and given time every week.
I mean, they were going quick and fast-paced in this match. I was surprised. I was like, that's the best Divas match I saw for a while. Naomi did a good job. All I can think of is, why does she still have Somebody Call My Mama as their theme song?
Why does she have that?
I don't know, because Brodus and the Funkadactyls are long gone. So
that doesn't fit the character anymore.
No, she should just come out to the Usos song if she's going to dress like an Uso. I mean, she even was dressed like an Uso tonight, Steven, if you didn't notice. She had the like thing out of the back pocket and everything on her attire.
That's kind of cheesy. Gotta love it.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's cheesy.
Okay, so moving on from that, Rusev defeated Goldust with the Accolade. The announcers talked to Lana. The announcers talked about how Lana couldn't control him, and he just kept that Accolade locked in. So I heard that Lana was backstage and that she's pretty much done filming now, so she'll probably be back next week full time. But I guess she was selling the injury from the night before.
Wow.
So I don't got really any comments on that. Is Rusev just totally out of the hunt now for the title, or what?
No, I think, dude, he's just getting started, I think.
Okay. Well, we can go on from that, because I really don't have anything else to say about that. So, Orton, Ryback, and Reigns versus Kane, Show, and Rollins. That was the main event. I thought it was hilarious because they got so many different types of chants in this match, and it just like the crowd took over the whole match. Reigns got booed out of the building again. Actually, Reigns speared Kane for the win. I really have nothing to say. I didn't think it was a strong finish for the Raw, but overall the Raw was really good.
It was a good Raw. The crowd did make a huge difference.
And I did see that this was like one of the highest rated Raws in years for him.
Yeah, I bet it was, especially after Mania. People that didn't get Mania, it's like they're going to watch.
Yeah, the ratings were really high.
Yeah.
I think they were at a 5.4 or something for this night.
Oh, wow.
And remember I was talking a few weeks ago, they couldn't draw over like a 2.7, so.
And what did they draw for this Raw?
Like a 5.4.
Oh, dude, that's ridiculous.
That's a hell of a rating, really, though.
Oh, my God, dude. They're normally like a 2... What? They usually hover between, 2.2 and 3 at the most.
Well, they need to keep the ratings up and keep doing stuff that people like. I mean, maybe introducing some of these new guys and stuff are going to get people interested.
Well, I think Brock Lesnar honestly does make a huge difference.
Yeah. Did you see the network exclusive Sting interview?
No, I did not. No.
Yeah. It just pretty much had Sting claiming, he felt good, he felt natural, and thanks to the fans, it felt like home. And he said he wanted to he got to stand face-to-face with Triple H, and win or lose, he's glad that he can say that he was at Mania. And then they asked him, where he goes from there, and he said he would grab whatever WWE throws at him in the future, and if they don't, it's a crying shame. And then Bo Dallas interrupted and came out and said how he used to be a huge Sting fan, and Sting even painted his face as a kid, and he didn't wash that face for 3 days.
Wow.
And then he said that Sting lost his legacy last night, started putting him down, and he said if Sting wanted to succeed, all he had to do was believe. Well, Sting just laid him out with a scorpion death drop. So I thought that was cool. But
nobody likes Bo Dallas.
No. That was a hell of a spot, though, I thought, for the network to have Sting come out. They should have put him on Raw, really, in my opinion.
Yeah, they did that right after Raw, and I kind of seen a clip, I think, on Facebook, probably. Yeah. Okay. He didn't give him the death drop, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't really anything big, but they did have a big Undertaker chant during it when they said, what is he going to do next?
Yeah, but anything that has anything to do with Bo Dallas, I just really kind of channel flip.
Right. Okay, so that was Raw, and I thought Raw was really good overall this week.
Yeah, Raw was good.
All right, well, I got a few notes wrote down, and then we'll call episode 20 finished for this week and have to go on to episode 21 next week. So, running down these notes that I had reported, CJ Parker, he was granted his release from WWE this week. It was effective immediately. He had not won a match since July 2014. So, CJ Parker from NXT, the hippie gimmick.
Yeah, the dirty-looking dude.
Yeah, he's done. I could see it coming. Also,
he asked for his release?
Yeah, he asked for his release. And it was granted.
He's got a bright future.
Yeah, no kidding. He's TNA.
He's in development and he's quitting.
He's TNA bound probably, I don't know.
Yeah, well, good luck with that.
Yeah. Did you hear about Perro Aguayo's autopsy showed that the awkward landing and the dramatic force in which the rope sprung back broke his neck in 3 places, the vertebrae, and it killed him. It killed him instantly.
Oh, I see. I was under the impression, because from what they said, he died later in the hospital.
No, he died instantly at that when he hit that rope. The rope sprung back and whiplashed him and broke 3 vertebrae. I said I was going to follow up because we dedicated last episode to him. So.
Huh.
And another thing is Rey Mysterio reportedly contemplating retirement now.
Yeah.
Which is sad to hear because the guy's a hell of a guy and really doesn't deserve to have that happen to him. But man,
that is the last thing he's ever done. Oh man,
it's the last thing a wrestler ever wants to do is have a guy die in their hands, and it's got him probably second guessing himself now. Although he never did anything, and the autopsy really shows that it was the force that he kind of flung him with that Hurricane Rana. So was it his? I don't think it was. And as I reported last week, he did have a injury like Edge had, where they told him, he could be paralyzed or even die if he hits wrong. So
it was just a freak accident. I mean, that's all it is. I've seen chair shots to the head worse, and it doesn't affect anybody. I mean, it just happened,
Yeah, it's an unfortunate situation for sure, man.
And it definitely does stink also for Mysterio, because this is the lasting thing he's gonna do.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's really crappy, but we had a report on it, so it is what it is. I hope he doesn't retire, but if he does, I wish him luck in whatever he does and hope he gets over it,
Yeah, it sucks.
That could really depress somebody when something like that. I mean, you actually involved in actually killing a guy. I mean, it's not cool. Anyway, it's not cool for anybody and not a good deal, so.
Yeah.
So that's that. And then one of the last notes I had here was the speculation that Brock bladed at Mania. Did you hear about that? You can see a ref hand in Reigns what looks like to be a blade, maybe.
Really?
But now WWE issued a statement saying that the programming is TVPG and we don't permit intentional bleeding.
Okay. So no bleeding on purpose.
The communication or contact between our performers and referees is part of our safety protocol. That said, unintentional blood sometimes occurs, and we do our best to minimize. So they're saying he did not blade, even though it looks like Reigns was handed something, and they do that with the referees handing another guy a blade, and then he'll pass it on to Brock or use it himself.
Mm-hmm.
So WWE coming out defending herself, saying that he did not blade. I thought that was something to report on. So.
Well, that's good that they don't want to have blood. I'm just being sarcastic. I don't know where I was going with that.
Triple H did make an interesting tweet, I noted, that an NXT alumni was involved in every match but him and Sting at Mania.
Huh.
So.
That's not exactly, amazing news, but...
Yeah, I thought it was interesting.
Oh, it's interesting. Yeah.
They had a record-breaking crowd at Levi's State.
Well, okay, one thought. You said an NXT alumni, which means anybody that they sign goes through NXT anyway. So
right.
Now I started thinking, I'm like, that doesn't make sense because Seth Rollins was the Ring of Honor champion. Oh, yeah, he went to NXT for 2 years or whatever.
Yeah, but everybody came through OVW and never happened in WrestleMania like that.
That's true, but God, they don't have... Everybody's new anymore, though, so... You're
right. He's really taking the low road trying to say that because there's not much talent, but the guy's coming through NXT.
Yeah, dude. So. I'm watching this past Hell in a Cell right now, and watched the Rollins-Ambrose match, and as soon as it went dark, I saw Bray Wyatt doing the little weird spider thing, and I'm just changing the channel.
Yeah, you're not into Wyatt no more, are you?
No, I never was, and I just think it's just not I don't know, it's just not wrestling.
The thing is that he did have that hurt ankle, so you can't really down his performance.
I never liked Wyatt, though.
He was wrestling on one leg, you got to give him that.
I just think, if you're going to face Undertaker, you got to be at least something. And Wyatt has been Dude, Wyatt hasn't won a match in a year.
Mm-hmm.
He's lukewarm. And I don't know. He's lukewarm. I mean, it's hard to argue. He hasn't won a match in how long?
I think he's got potential, but that's just me.
Well, he's got potential. And I understand, he is, kind of... WWE needs those kind of guys. But, again, he hasn't won a match in a year. I mean...
Okay.
I don't know when the last time he won a match.
Yeah. Well, the last thing, since we are back on Mania, that I wanted to report is that they did have a record-breaking crowd at Levi's Stadium, so you can't say that Mania always breaks records.
That's true.
They were this was the highest-grossing WrestleMania ever at the gate. And
wow.
And on top of that, if you go online and check it out, they broke all kinds of merchandise records and pay-per-view records and streaming records. And I mean, this Mania broke a lot of records. So, regardless if they had a hell of a Mania or not, Mania is not going anywhere. Because it brings in so much revenue for them and the cities that it's hosted in that people just bite at the chance to host this. So... All I'm saying is I'm already ready for Mania 32 in Texas, to tell you the truth. So
yeah.
And I hope it can come up bigger than this Mania. I mean, I wasn't let down. I was actually surprised that it was as good as it was. But I did think a few things were a letdown, such as the ladder match and just the Taker match being subpar. But overall, I thought everything was good. I thought Raw was great this week. And the Hall of Fame was the worst ever. But other than that, I really have nothing to say. So I can say peace out to everybody out there. And it's hour 54 long episode, the longest we've ever went. But hey, with Mania, we had to go this long. So there was no way around it.
That's crazy.
So I hope everybody tunes in and listens. I'm sure some people actually stay the whole 2 hours with us, Steven. So I'm going to say peace out, man. Until next week, episode 21. I hope you can get back on here next week with us. We'll try to get, we're going to get Jeff and Jason's opinions next week on Mania 2, and shout out to them. I hope Jeff gets feeling better. Maybe this will help make him feel better listening to us. So what's up, Jeff? Hope you're doing good, buddy. And Jason, I hope you can get on here next week. And everybody out there that listens to us, if you're listening to us on Facebook, like our page. If you find us on YouTube, subscribe. Make sure to leave any kind of comments or questions that you have if you're just finding the show. And we do want to address some questions and comments from people, and we usually do if somebody does. So I just want to put that out there before I end the show. So I'm going to say peace out like I said. And thanks everybody for listening. Steven, I'll see you next week hopefully. Peace out, man.
Yep, see you later.
Later, guys.